Okay, today we are playing a game on Hollywood. We are playing Soldier 76 the entire way through, and the average SR of this game was 1,441. So, let's look at our team. Let me get the pen. We've got Soldier, Zenyatta, Reinhardt, Hansoap, Winston, Mercy. So we've got like a third of a dive comp in Zenyatta and Winston. Then we got Soldier, who's just always good. We've got Hanzo, who's always good if you can play Hanzo. I'm just saying, we're pretty low SR. I wouldn't expect a Hanzo to know how to play Hanzo. We've got Reinhardt, never bad. And we've got Mercy, who is fine. Zenyatta is also fine. So, you know, it's like kinda a little bit all over the place, but it doesn't matter. In this SR, team comp does not matter that much. To be honest with you, it doesn't matter. Like before, like Master, Diamond. So, right out of the gate, Hanzo has fired the Sonic Arrow and killed Torbjorn with it, so that's fantastic for us. Can't imagine it was intentional, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. So, now, we also see they've got an Orisa. Now, that's fantastic news if you're playing Soldier, because boy, you thought Roadhog was an ult battery? Let me introduce you to Orisa. She is the fucking Energizer Bunny of ult charge, so we're gonna be trying to bully her as much as possible. Over here, also, we see they have a Bastion. He just killed Winston and immediately died to Reinhardt. Soldier, decent against Bastion if you can get a decent line of sight, so we're going to be looking to bully him if he stays on Bastion. Now, important thing here that we see, right? We just took damage from behind, and this guy over here just got some rockets fired at him. They came from behind us, so there is a Soldier 76 standing right behind us right now. And we've not noticed that, but we just got shot from behind and rockets flew past us. That's when you start to think something's up behind you and you spin around to try and kill the Soldier. Soldier now, he's done a huge loop around pretty quickly, goodness me. And now he's trying to run off this way. Just like, you can go after this guy a little bit more aggressively. You kind of hesitate to like move up and try and shoot around the car. Don't be afraid. So, now, we got an Orisa up here. Just be like shooting at this Orisa basically the entire time until you find something better to be shooting at. Soldier really good at breaking barriers. Also, just like fire your missiles into it as well, right? Like, if there's nothing better for you to be shooting at, you want to be shooting at a barrier the entire time, because Soldier is really, really good at breaking barriers. And also just like spam Helix rockets. Helix rockets are not a cooldown that you need to sit on and like treasure that highly, because it's not like Ana's cooldowns, which are really long cooldown but have utility to them and you might need them to survive. Helix Rocket is just damage. And Soldier's thing is he's just trying to do as much consistent damage as possible. So if just like spam rockets into whatever you think you can hit, or if you're shooting at a barrier, just spam the rockets into a barrier, because you're just looking to try and do as much consistent damage as possible, and you're really good at breaking barriers as Soldier. So their Soldier's coming around here. Missed the rockets on him, unfortunate, but he's dead before he gets away. So now, they are down a few people. Now we basically want to be going in, but we kind of have to wait for our tanks to actually start going forward. Find their Bastion, start firing at the Bastion, kill the Bastion, great. Nitpicky thing, try not to stand perfectly still while you're firing, because you are to do that right here. And it's like, I don't expect you to get punished for it right here, but like, it's just a bad habit. Try not to stand perfectly still when you're firing at something, because it just makes you easier to kill. So, Torbjorn stands perfectly still over there. We managed to just drill into him and kill him. Great. Killed Mercy. Everything's going swimmingly. And we've basically captured the point. We're just cleaning up the rest of the fight, and we're good. Soldier poked his face out and died to Scatter skill, which is sad for him. This is a pretty good game. Like, we win this game pretty easily. Spoiler warning. It's never too terribly taxing at any point. So now Reinhardt getting a bit overzealous, stopped by the doorway, thank goodness. Again, just be like firing into this area basically the whole time. Spam your rockets at like every opportunity, because you just want to do damage to these people. Common mistakes older players fall into. They're like, I gotta keep these Helix rockets because I need these to kill people. Yeah, but like, you can kill people without them, and you're just looking to do as much damage as possible, so just throw those Helix rockets in anywhere you can. If you think you can hit something with the Helix rockets, just fire the Helix rockets in there. Don't be stingy with the cooldown. And like this barrier right here, just like be shooting at it the whole time if there's nothing better to be shooting at, because like we kind of stop as soon as the barrier gets put down. That's your job. Your job is breaking barriers, so just be like firing into it until you find something better to fire at. So we're getting a little, again, just be like spamming rockets in here. You could be doing more damage right here just by like spamming the rockets in. So we're coming forward here. We use the tack visor. I think I would have used the tack visor as well in this position, but be careful about using it in this kind of position because tack visor is usually, it's risky to use on low ground in general just because there's the risk of like dying or they just disappear behind a barrier and you can't shoot them. Obviously the barrier isn't a big thing in this position, but like there's a lot of corners to cut around, right? Tack visor, you kind of wait. When you want to use tack visor, you kind of want to be on high ground and you want to wait for a couple of people to be out of position to actually use it and then just drill them to death with it. This kind of position, it's not unforeseeable that like they got speed boosted away by a Lucio when we have to spend like half our ult running after people, right? So just be careful about using it in this kind of position. I'm pretty sure I would have done the same thing, but it's generally risky to use on low ground, especially near this many corners, basically. Hollywood in general can be difficult to get value out of tack visor for because there's a lot of places the enemy can just sort of disappear into. But of course the roofs on this area are fantastic for Soldier 76, so. Now we just drill a bunch of people, he gets barriered. You can shoot the barrier in that position. Cause right now, like if you break this barrier, you kill this Lucio. It's okay to shoot a Zarya's barrier if you're gonna kill the person underneath it. If you're not if you're not confident you can kill the person underneath it, then don't shoot the barrier, because then you're just giving her charge. But right here, this Lucio's got like 26 hit points. Like, you can kill him if you just keep shooting the barrier here and break it, but you like hesitate as he's disappearing around the corner. You could have killed him in that position. Don't be afraid to shoot the barrier if you can kill the person underneath it. So now we're coming after this soldier, we're drilling him in the back, we got him, great, just in time to catch the elevator so we can go up onto the high ground, great. Nitpicky thing here, we're more focused on shooting these people, obviously, but like once the elevator gets to the top, jump off the elevator, even if you're shooting at these people. Because you don't want to be down here, and now you're going to have to wait for it to go all the way back up again to actually get on the roof, which is where we want to be. Little bit of indecision, it seems like. He disappears around the corner, and then we're kind of like, oh, maybe I should shoot over there. You know, just like pick one and stick with it, basically. The Lucio is going to come out from around the corner, so just basically stick on him. Little bit of indecision on if we wanted to shoot the Zarya. So now we're on the roof on Hollywood. Fantastic time to be alive, a soldier right now. People in this SR range also, they're like gonna do nothing to get you off the fucking roof either, so we're basically gonna have fucking free reign up here as long as we choose to stay up here. They're right underneath us right now, which is a little awkward. Don't do that right there, just like dump the biotic field. We like hear the ult and we're like, oh fuck, damage, put biotic field down, and then we just leave it behind. Biotic Field is a 15-second cooldown. You gotta be pretty deliberate with that, because that's the kind of thing that you can use it frivolously and then be like, fuck, I really wish I had the Biotic Field right now. So, like, don't just, like, dump it down and then leave it behind. You gotta either don't use it or stay where you're gonna put it. Though, staying with it right there would probably end in you dying, so you just don't use it. Want to be moving a little bit more up the roof at this point, because it's getting difficult for us to see people here, and they're going to be disappearing around this corner, so we should be moving up a little bit sooner than that. But this is all basically fine. Like, this is how you play Soldier on Hollywood. You get on the roof, and you just shoot down at people. They probably... It's hard to get on the roof, so people tend to just be like, someone else will probably deal with it. You know, bystander effect kicks in, and then they never deal with you, and you get to just sit up there having free reign. High ground is really fucking overpowered, as Master Obi-Wan Kenobi taught us, so we're looking to just abuse it as much as possible. Mercy's wasting her res over here, basically. We're just firing down. You know, at this point you can consider jumping down, because they're starting to, like, the fight's starting to disappear into the hangar, but they are also going to all cut across in front of our line of vision to get to safety at this point as well, so it's fine. Zenyatta pretty much panic ultimates, which is a bit of a waste. Well, a bit of a waste, you know, it completely wastes it. We're having trouble seeing people at this point, so we decide to jump down. That's perfectly fine. And now we're going to bully these people who are going across. Zarya's wasting Graviton, which is fantastic news for us. And now we're going to come over here and try to bully these people who are over in the corner. Lucio's disappearing around. We're trying to get the Mercy. Oh, she just got shot by Hanzo. Sucks to be Mercy. And, like, these people are basically fucking dead. All of them are wasting their ultimates. Oh, nearly got pinned by Reinhardt. Very spooky. We turn around, start firing at him. Just, like, at this point, just, like, focus on this Reinhardt, and just spam those rockets in there. Do damage to his shield, if nothing else, right? You can, like, go up and try to bully him around the shield at this point, but we are not full HP, and he is pretty full HP, so that's pretty scary to do at this point. Just, like, be drilling into him the whole time, though. Like, make him feel scared to take his shield down in advance, and you're just doing damage to the shield the whole time. Spam those rockets in there. Don't be afraid to throw them against a shield. Throw them against a shield if there's nothing better to throw them against. He's charged in now. Now you just walk up and smack this person, which we do. You just commit to it at this point. Like, we're a little tentative about going up and keep smacking him. That Reinhardt, he's got 3 hits in him. He's not going to take that shield down. You just stick to that man and keep punching him until he dies. Now we're going to come around the side, come in with the tack visor. A little bit risky to use in this position as well because of what's in front of us. Because we come around here, we see their D.Va. D.Va, we don't know how much defense matrix she has at this point. We can assume not full, because there has been a fight happening. But we don't know how much defense matrix D.Va has, and D.Va has the potential to completely no-sell your ultimate if she's got enough defense matrix. Doesn't end up coming up here, but I would sort of try, like, I would shoot at the D.Va a little bit to see if she's low HP and I can get her out of the mech, or to see if she's got any defense matrix in her, because the risk of getting your ult completely cancelled out can be pretty high in that position. Just be careful about ulting around a D.Va. But we've basically won at this point. We have to kill these people who are coming out to touch it. We're focusing that Pharah. Pharah's dead. Died right after the round ended, so we don't get credit for it. Feels bad, man. But that was a pretty good round. You know, just be careful about ulting on low ground. Careful about ulting around a D.Va if you don't know how much defense matrix she has. And spam rockets more. Spam rockets more. Spam them rockets as much as possible. It's not a cooldown to sit on and treasure because it's only damage, and you just want to do as much damage as possible over time. That's Soldier's thing. Consistent, very consistent, moderate DPS. I forget who it was, but someone basically compared him to, like, a moving dot. Like a damage over time effect, like a moving dot on someone at one point. I was like, that's a surprisingly good comparison for Soldier, actually. So, our team right here, standing way further up than we want them to be standing, and they are indeed going to get punished for it. I'm pretty sure they get punished for it right now. Maybe it takes a little while to take, maybe he charges in. Does he? Yeah, there he goes. Don't do that. Don't do that right there. You need a damn good reason to charge out on defense as Reinhardt, and that is not the reason to charge out. Like, we killed a couple people over there, but now they're gonna die. And this is the thing with killing people right outside of their spawn, right? 10 seconds later, they respawn, walk out of the door, and they're back, right? But now, Reinhardt and Symmetra are dead. They're going to spend like 30 seconds coming back to this fight, so it is not a worthwhile trade at all. It is not worth it. You get less for killing people the closer somebody is to their spawn when you kill them, the less you get for killing them. So I just don't understand why people want to go up and fight them outside of their spawn. Doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, just be like shooting in the whole time, right there. Just shoot into that shield the entire time. Spam them rockets into it. I guess it's like a preference thing. On Hollywood, and I'm playing Soldier, I like to stand closer to this pillar, because I can then, like, duck behind the pillar if I start getting pressured and, like, disappear down the staircase if I really have to. If you stand over here and you start getting, like, really pressured from other people, you basically just have to give up the high ground. And you don't want to just give up the high ground for free. You want to kind of fight over it. So I prefer to stand near the pillar so you can kind of just sort of dig in and try to defend your position a little bit more. Because now if you get pressured, you just have to jump off, basically. And I think we fall off by accident more so there, but now we're going to come around this way since the enemy team is advancing in. That's fine, because, I mean, you expect to have to give that place up eventually and come over here as Soldier, so it's fine. We're focusing their Pharah. Their Pharah elected to commit suicide and dragged their Mercy in as well by the look of it, so that's good for us. Spamming into the Orisa. Good old Orisa, giving us some ult charge right there. Just spamming into the shield, playing Soldier 76. This is how you play Soldier 76. Killed Orisa, just like one random bullet. Good times. Reinhardt's charging off. You can jump down in this position and then just like drill into the Reinhardt over there as well, just because like Reinhardt's gonna pin him, but that's not gonna kill him, so he might need a little bit more help. But we choose to stay up here as well. That's fine. They can probably handle that. Everybody got knocked down. We had to reload right as the Earth Shatter happened, so that feels kind of bad. You have your rockets, though. fire those rockets in at somebody. If you're reloading, just, like, fire those rockets in at somebody still, because that's, like, free 120 damage right there if you get a direct hit, which is pretty easy to do when they're on the ground stunned. So we've almost got Tac Visor now, that's cool. That means we'll pretty much be able to fend off the next push by ourselves, basically. Because their team is not the best at dealing with Tac Visor if we use it at the right time. Like, they've got a bunch of barriers, but we got, like, high ground, and they got, like, people that don't really want to stand behind the barriers, so it's all good for us. We're trying to drill into that Pharah. She's making it a little bit difficult for us. Careful of, like, fixating on a Pharah too much. This position, the Pharah is actually really hard for us to hit anymore. So, like, we try to get some in, but, like, be careful of, like, fixating too much on a Pharah. Because, like, if she's becoming really difficult to hit, or she's, like, outside of your range, and you're, like, doing fall-off damage at that point, like, don't worry about it so much. Try to shoot somebody that's, like... It's more important that you're doing damage, like, more damage to somebody, right? Rather than focusing the Pharah and doing a little bit of damage to Pharah, you can probably spend that time better just, like, doing a lot of damage to, like, a Reinhardt shield or something like that. That can be more productive than doing, like, a little bit of chip damage to a Pharah. Actually pretty hard to kill a Pharah as Soldier if the enemy Pharah knows what they're doing and they've got a Mercy with them. So it's, you know, you kind of have to take what you can get. So we Tac Visor right here, that's fine. Don't really need to jump off of the high ground right here, because, like, this Pharah is already out in the open, and then, like, disappears in there. We killed the Junkrat as well, but, like, now we're on the low ground with Tac Visor, which is not really where we want to be. Like, this isn't the sickest high ground in the game, but, you know, we don't want to be on low ground with it if at all possible. So we end up with an awkward position where we killed 2 people that we could have killed from up there, and then we can't really kill anyone else, so we should have just stayed up on the high ground. You generally need a pretty good reason to jump off of the high ground in the middle of a fight as Soldier, because high ground's really fucking overpowered. So, they're throwing in the Dragon right there. Little bit of an early use on the Biotic Field, because you haven't actually really taken any damage. You took 20 damage, but, like, that's not the best use of Biotic Field. Most of this is gonna get wasted, because you heal 20 damage, but then, like, what else is really gonna do any damage to you? Basically nothing. So that's a bit of a waste of a cooldown right there. We get bumped off by Pharah shooting us. Now we're on the low ground. Barrage happens. Minimized everything right there. Sorry about that. So, when you get knocked down in this position, like, careful of what we do right here, because we get knocked down, that sucks. But then we start walking into people that we're firing at, which is a bad habit as well. Soldier, to put it in academic terms, does a lot of fucking damage from really fucking far away. So you basically never have to start advancing into people as we were doing right here. Would be better to really, like, either just start falling back behind the point and firing at them from further away, or just sprint back up onto the high ground again, like on where we were, or we could try and sprint round up onto the house on the right as well. But we don't want to, like, be, like, just standing on the point or advancing into people. So McCree's using High Noon. Not a good time to poke your face out. High Noon lasts 6 seconds. If the McCree is good, he's going to channel for the full 6 seconds unless he can kill somebody, so you gotta be real careful about poking your face out when High Noon is happening. So our Torbjorn has now changed to Junkrat, which is debatably better. You know. So now we're defending on Hollywood. We want to get on the roof as quickly as possible, which is where we're going right now. Conveniently enough, the elevator is down right as we arrive, so we get to go straight up. Feels good. Again, throw your rockets in here. You know, just, it's not a cooldown to treasure. Throw it into barriers if there's nothing better to throw it at. Yep, now we're just playing Soldier again. We're going to sit up on the high ground and do a lot of damage from really far away. We are playing Soldier 76 right now. Pretty much textbook play right here. You can, in this position, go and stand over on the other roof as well and, like, poke your face around there. Because if somebody pokes their face out in the gates over there, I don't know why I'm pointing with the cursor instead of drawing, if they're, like, this far away, you're actually going to start doing some fall-off damage, which is, you know, best avoided if possible, but they're not going to hover over there for too long at the same time, and this is a better line of sight. So he pops out, kills Mercy. We didn't have our rockets, so we couldn't kill him in time. Feels bad, man. Did you see the vacuuming that happened right there to that Pharah? Because there's a trap on that roof, and just like... Hold on, let's go on to... There's something in the way, god damn it, let me move this cup. We're gonna go down onto lower speed so that we can see this Pharah get sucked onto that trap. Look at that. She moves like a solid 5 feet to the right for it. This is going to be way too far back, but it's really funny to me. Oh, okay. That's cool. I didn't actually step on this bear trap, but, thought that was kind of a requirement for a bear trap activating, but no, just sort of hovering in the vicinity. So, Mercy rezzed just in time to not res Pharah, so Pharah's pretty upset about that one. Again, spam your rockets in right here. Didn't need to use your biotic field right there. You use it while you're at full HP, I'm pretty sure. Yep, full HP. So that's a completely wasted cooldown, and this is a 15-second cooldown. You gotta be pretty careful how you use it. Also, we got worth thinking about as well. We have shield generator HP right now, so we don't necessarily even need to use biotic field when we start taking damage, because those 75 hit points are going to be regenerating anyway. So it's possible we don't need to use biotic field when we actually start taking damage, if we don't think like we're going to be in like taking sustained damage. Now we've taken some damage though, and we can't actually use the biotic field because it's still on cooldown. Like now we would like to be able to use our biotic field, but we can't because it's on cooldown. However, we still have regenerating hit points, so we still come up over max base HP anyway. Pharah elects to commit suicide, so that's very convenient for us right there. We come up on here, kind of looking down, see what we can find. Soldier's over there, drill into the soldier. I mean, again, just throw your rockets in there. You know, if you can kill someone faster with the rockets, that's usually better. Throw your rockets into that barrier. Throw your rockets out everywhere. You get a rocket. You get a rocket. Everybody gets a rocket. Reinhardt's charging in again. You need a really good reason to charge in as Reinhardt. That's not it. Again, that damage right there, not being very productive. This is when you might consider walking forward, because you're not doing full damage to this person that you're drilling. You are, in fact, doing minimum damage at that range, which is... soldiers' bullets by default do 20 damage, but at max fall-off they do 5 per shot, which is significantly less, and it takes a lot of bullets to kill somebody at that point, so... that kind of damage, not very productive, can be detrimental in some cases, right? Because you've got your ultimate. Mercy used her ult not that long ago, so Mercy's charging a new ult right now. So if you just do, like, inconsequential chip damage to somebody in this position, you can just be giving the other Mercy more ult charge. So you want to be careful about doing nothing damage, basically, because you can be giving the healers ult charge off of it. Drilling into the Orisa, you know, Orisa, good ol' fucking juicy head hitbox right on the top of her model, fucking gigantic, just so sad to play Orisa against a soldier, because what the fuck are you gonna do, basically. Now we're focusing down the Pharah. They're trying to get us off the roof at this point. It's not going to work because we have Tac Visor. We do get, like, super blasted backwards right as that happens, which is really unfortunate. Also, again, we don't have a biotic cooldown when we really need it, so that's pretty unfortunate. Be careful about, like, advancing in that position, because you don't really need to. The Pharah is coming across the bridge to get to you, but you start walking into the Pharah as well. You don't need to do that, because you can just put the Tac Visor on and focus them. And you'll kill the Pharah, almost certainly, because she's almost dead. Soldier, you probably wouldn't kill from that position, because he's probably just going to jump off the rooftop. But either way, you defend your position, and you've killed, like, the Pharah at least, and you've done, like, damage to the soldier, if nothing else. So, you don't need to advance in, you put yourself in slightly more risk and end up getting blasted off, so that's unfortunate. But I mean, you know, small things, because everything's still going pretty well for us. Reinhardt swings right by, and oh, we see him get killed right in front of our eyes. How brutal. McCree standing perfectly, again, we stood perfectly still a little bit there. Oh god, excuse me. Risky to do. Try not to stand perfectly still when you're shooting. McCree also did that, and we killed him. We get blasted off. At this point, like, I wouldn't run this way. I'd try to get the health kit on the right, because we've been blasted off. We left our biotic field up there, because we got blasted off, which is unfortunate. There's a full health kit right to your right, so I would have seen if that was there first before retreating away, but, I mean, this is safe, obviously, just retreating backwards. Pharah pokes her face in, tries to get us. Oh god, 2 hit points, put the biotic field down. Oh, she can't quite close the kill. Not even close, baby. And then we got away with it all. Mercy comes over. We got like 15 seconds left. Things are not looking good for them. They're basically going to just start rushing forward to touch the point. We're putting in a bunch of damage. He got finished off by the dragon. We did most of the work, but Hanzo took the credit for it with his ultimate, no less. Greedy asshole. Drill into Orisa. Pharah's ulting from a million billion miles away and we just kill her. You know, we're playing Soldier 76. It's all going pretty well for the most part. And that's the end of the game. This was a pretty good Soldier game. Does this have to play at the game in it? No, this does not have to play at the game in it. How sad. Pretty good Soldier game, you know. This is like a pretty good Soldier game. Like, this is not the sort of play I would expect from somebody in, like, Silver SR. This is the kind of play I would expect to see somebody out of, like, High Gold Plat. Like, it's, like, just standing on the high ground is like, whoa, so many soldiers in this, like, below Platinum do not do that. They don't know how overpowered high ground is, and we're standing on high ground for, like, 80% of the game. It's fantastic. It's amazing. This is actually a really good Soldier game. And it's basically, like, small things where we're, like, not putting as much damage into barriers as we could. If we see a barrier, we kind of just start looking around for something else to shoot at. Just be wailing away at that barrier the entire time until you find something else to do damage to. Cooldowns, like, use your cooldowns more often. Helix Rocket, you don't have to sit on it. It only does damage. It's not a utility ability. You are looking to do as much consistent damage as possible as Soldier. So just as soon as you think you can hit something with your rockets, you throw those rockets in. If you're firing at a barrier, you fire those rockets at that barrier because you're looking to break that barrier. That kind of thing. Biotic Field, be careful about just, like, using it and leaving it behind. Try not to use it. Like, a lot of soldiers, they start taking damage, and then they use it immediately. If you don't want to use it if you're gonna just take, like, some chip damage, and then they're gonna disappear and not continue doing damage. You want to use it when you're actually fighting somebody, because that's when it gives you the advantage. Like, if a Winston or a D.Va jumps on you, you can just put the Biotic Field down and, like, fight them, because they won't be able to kill you through the Biotic Field, and you'll probably kill them. Winston, maybe not. D.Va, you'll probably break her mech if nothing else. So be careful about, like, wasting Biotic Field, or, like, leaving it behind, using it when you don't need to. Try to use it basically when you're fighting. Also, imagine with me that you're on Nepal, right? And you're on Sanctum. Your team's going in. You're gonna play that game where you advance in with your Reinhardt, and you're gonna start doing that awkward fight, like, on one of the edges of the map, right? Don't be afraid in that kind of position to just run up behind your tank line, put the Biotic Field down with them, and then retreat backwards again. Because the extra healing from Biotic Field, it's actually quite a lot. Like, it's a pretty good heal. And that can be, like, just doing that, if you do that and the other soldier doesn't, that can be enough for you to win the fight, because your tank line just gets that little bit more healing they need. And on a more base level, you get ult charge for healing other people. So if you can, like, run up behind your tank line and put Biotic Field down with them, and then retreat backwards again, do that, because that's just, like, helpful. Like, that will help you in a lot of cases. It'll help your tanks, it'll help you, you'll get more ult. It's good for everybody. It's a win-win situation. Sometimes you don't want to worry about that. Like, on Hollywood, if you're on the roof, just stay on the roof. Don't worry about it at that point, because that's better than you going and doing a little bit more healing for the tank line. You just want to put more damage in that case. But if you can reasonably go up to your tank line and put the Biotic Field down with them, that can be useful. Be careful of using Attack Visor on the low ground, because that's where it's usually least effective. The one in the alleyway I think I would have used as well, but, like, be careful of doing that, because there is the risk of it just getting completely blocked out, basically. Like, if you're on, like, the rooftops on Hollywood and you used Attack Visor and they're just, like, in the street, they're like, oh fuck, well now what? I gotta run a really far way to get into cover, right? And so, yeah, be careful of using it on the low ground. But all in all, this is, like, a really good, like, soldier game. Like, pretty good. There's, like, it's like smaller things, basically. You've got, like, the broad strokes. Your aim is actually really good. Like, pretty good aim. And you're up on high ground as much as possible, which is fantastic. That's absolutely incredible to see a soldier actually doing that. Like, you know, I would expect to see you more in, like, plat range-ish, like high gold, low plat, that rather than in silver. It's kind of surprising to me that you're this low down, because this is, like, a pretty good game. So anyway, thank you very much for watching if you did. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer, and I hope you found the video helpful.